All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to class, everyone. All right, welcome to the new Tenopy live sharing session where you got bite size of tips and tricks for answering questions here. All right, so as usual, just like our usual classes, you will be able to communicate with me, Teacher Hetty, through the chat box and through the microphone. All right, so if you need to use the microphone, please raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Any and all questions you have about the content that we're talking about, you may post your questions in the chat and I will answer them as I see. All right, I do hope that you guys would participate in this class and I hope you guys will enjoy. So today we're going to talk about paper 2. We're going to talk about closes. Okay. So close. I know that currently at primary 3 level, you have your exam closes. They give you helping words, which you can pick from. All right. So you pick the words that are given, pick the correct word and put into the blank. Okay. However, as you move on to primary 4, those helping words, they would be gone. All right, so what does that mean for us? That means we will have to start practicing how to think of the words that could fit into the blank. All right, so not just identifying which is the correct one, but thinking of what kind of words are good, are suitable for the blank. Hello, Elise. Hello, Samson. Welcome to class. Hello, Aprimaya. Hello, welcome. All right, so we've just started. Just a quick recap for you guys. All right, so we're talking about paper 2 today, a closed passage. And if you do need to communicate with me, you may choose to do so through the microphone by raising your hand so I can unmute you, or you may post your questions in the chat box. All right, so the chat box should be visible to you now. Since I have sent you a message, please try to reply me if you can see the message. Thank you. All right. Okay, so welcome to class. All right, so as I was saying, now at primary 3, you do have helping words to help you with the closed passage. But moving on, those words are going to get eliminated. That's why at this stage, we'll start with some easy questions and we can prepare you for those types of questions. All right, so to answer questions, to come up with words without help, come up with words that fill in. Oh, hi, Aprimia. Hi, Elise. I can see your message. Don't worry. All right. Okay, what about now? You should be able to see a greeting. Okay, so as I was saying, in order to come up with the words that fit into the blank, we must first narrow down the words, right? Because there were thousands, millions of words in the English language, and we can't just fish a random word out of the dictionary to put here, right? We need to know what type of words we are looking for, right? That's the first step. That's the first step to tackling a closed question, right? Okay, so let's look at an example. Let's look at an example together. So when you see a close, it is a word taken out of the sentence and you're going to fill that in, right? Okay, so when you are faced with a question like this, the first thing you do after reading the passage, all right, after reading the passage, reading the sentence, the first thing you should do is to identify the keywords. Right, so the keywords we are looking for are the words that are near, next to or near, okay, next to or near the blank. Right, because these are the words that would help us, that would give us clues of what we should put into the blank, right? Okay, that makes sense, right? So the first thing we do when we see a blank is to identify, is to read, of course, read the sentence and then identify the keywords next to it. For example, the first blank, the Voyager Golden Records, all right, which is an object, blank, 2 phonograph records that were included on board both Voyager spacecrafts launched in 1977. Okay, so what does this sentence tell us? This sentence tells us that there's something, right? A Voyager golden record, something were included on board spacecrafts that were launched in 1977. So they're talking about something, right? An object, the Voyager golden records. Okay, here comes the next step. We all know, I hope you guys do know, as I said, the Voyager golden records is a thing, right? It's a thing. So what kind of word do you think records is? What kind of word? All right, so that's the second part of answering the question. After identifying the keywords, we will move on to identifying the parts of speech. Parts of speech are the different types of word that makes up a sentence. For example, nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. Okay, adjectives, conjunctions, prepositions. Prepositions. These are all parts of speech. It's the different types of words. Okay, so it's the different types of words. Right. Okay, so as we have read just now and highlighted, the Voyager Golden Records, that's our first keyword, that's a phrase, right? Okay, our second keyword, also a phrase, is two phonograph records. All right, because that's the two phrases that is immediately before and immediately after the blank, right? Thank you, Roshan. Okay, so records. Records is a noun, right? It's an object, a name of an object. So this is a noun. The Voyager Golden Records, that would be a noun phrase. Okay, so similarly as we have identified two phonograph records, our second key phrase, because there's also records here, right? This record is still a noun, which means that this phrase is also a noun phrase. Okay, now I have one question. What do you think? What do you think two and phonograph, what do you think these two words are? What type of words are they? Two and phonograph. What do you think? All right, we have a noun here. Okay, so we have records, but what kind of records, right? We have two phonograph records. Okay, so this together is a noun phrase. These two words, two and phonograph, these two words are adjectives. Right, so these two words are adjectives because they describe the records. All right, adjectives are used to describe nouns, right? Describes and modifies nouns. Okay, so two phonograph record, not just any record, but two phonograph records. Okay, so phonograph is regarding to sound and sound waves. Okay, photograph is regarding to pixels and pictures. All right. Okay, so now that we have finished identifying what is given to us in the passage, the next step is to start actually answering the question. So we do have a noun phrase before the blank, a noun phrase that already has a couple adjectives describing it, okay? We have that after the blank. So what do you think goes in between these two phrases? What kind of words are we looking for? Thank you, Roshan. All right, Roshan has figure out the answer. Anyone else? What kind of words should go in between these two noun phrases to make the sentence complete? All right, so what goes in here? Okay, very good. All right, you guys are very good. So we're looking for a verb, right? We're looking for a verb that can connect these two noun phrases. A verb that shows the relation between these two phrases. Okay. All right. So we are looking for a verb that shows the relationship between the Voyager Golden Records and two phonograph records. All right. Here's the thing. Do you guys know what the Voyager Golden Records are? You guys know what they are? Alright, no worries. Let me show you a short video on what the Voyager Golden Records are. Okay, we're not going to watch the entire video. I'm going to show you snippets of it. If your volume is really high, please dial it down a bit.
On September 5th, 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Almost 4 decades later, that craft is over 12 billion miles from home. Voyager carries a golden record containing a greeting from the people of Earth to the alien life form that may someday find it.
Alright, so that is the Voyager Golden Record. Alright, so it's a disk carried on a spaceship. Alright, let's show you a little bit more on what is on that disk. What do we have inside the disk?
At this speed, you would begin to hear greetings in 55 different languages.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
This would be followed by music and sounds from Earth, like a train in motion, crickets chirping, fire crackling, laughter, and a baby crying. This section explains how images can be pieced together from recorded signals. A replica of the first image on the recording is shown here, so the viewer can verify they decoded the signals correctly. In total, there are 116 images on the record. They show our solar system, our planet, and ourselves. Without much to erode it in space, the Golden Record is estimated to survive for 1 billion years, traveling aimlessly through the Milky Way. It's impossible to say whether Voyager or its twin, Voyager 2, will ever be found and retrieved by another life form. But, as Carl Sagan, who chaired the Golden Record project, put it would be impolite not to say hello.
Alright, so that is the Voyager Golden Record. It's 2 discs containing sounds and pictures that are about our own planet that are placed on a spaceship waiting to be discovered by aliens. Okay. Alright, so that is the Voyager Golden Record. And that rounded disc, the golden disc you see in the video, that is a phonograph record because it records sounds and waves. Alright, so now back to our original question. What do you think is the relationship between the Voyager Golden Record and 2 phonograph records? Alright, let me phrase it this way. Do you think they're the same thing? Do you think the Voyager Golden Record is a type of phonograph record? Do you think the Voyager Golden Record, do you think that is a record that contains sounds and waves? Okay, thank you, Aprimaya. Right. Okay, so the Voyager Golden Record is in fact a phonograph record. All right, so phonograph record, it defines, this phrase defines the Golden Record. It explains to you what exactly is the Golden Record. All right. Okay, so the relationship between the 2 keywords that we highlighted, all right, 2 phonograph records. Right, sorry, 2 phonograph records is the explanation, all right? That's the explanation of Voyager Golden Record. All right, as I have shown you in the video, there are 2 round discs, right? 2 golden records. Okay, so now that you know these 2 things are about the same thing, what do you think goes into that blank? Remember, we're looking for a verb. Okay, Ruoxian says included. The Voyager Golden Records included 2 phonograph records. All right, so if they are about the same thing, would you say that one thing includes another? Okay, Aprimaya says have. The Voyager Golden Records have 2 phonograph records. Once again, these 2 things are very alike. If you say the Voyager spaceships have 2 phonograph records, that would be correct because those records are on board those spaceships. However, we're talking about the same thing. Talking about the same thing. All right, I think you guys have overthink this. Okay, the Voyager golden records are 2 phonograph records. All right, just like if I say teacher Hetty is a woman. Okay, teacher Hetty is a noun phrase. A woman is a noun phrase. I am a woman, right? Okay, so is explains that this is in fact definition or explanation of the other word. All right. Some of you guys have overthought this. But it's a very good thing that you think about the meanings. You think about what kind of words you could fit into that. It's a very good attempt. Very good job, guys. Okay, this one, however, is not that hard. If you have about the same thing, one phrase defines the other phrase. It's usually is, are, okay? So is or are, that depends on if it's a plural noun or a singular noun. Right? Roshan says are is not a verb. Let's rethink this. Are is in fact a verb. Okay, so the definition of a verb is a word that shows action. Okay, so a verb is a word that shows action or the state of being. Okay, which means apart from running, writing, reading, these obvious verbs, is, are, were, was, okay, had, okay, have, that's a pretty obvious verb. Right, so is, are, were, was, these are also verbs. They're also used as a verb. Okay, all right, so it's a little tricky. These types of closed questions are hard. Okay, but we will be able to tackle it down, most of it, if we follow the steps. Once again, let's recap the steps. The first thing you do when you see a closed blank is, of course, to read the sentence, to get a brief idea of what the sentence is trying to tell you. Second step, all right, so after reading, the first step in answering a question would be to highlight the keywords around the blank. Always highlight or underline it first so you don't forget to do this step. So you don't forget to notice those keywords. Always highlight them. Right, second step, after you've finished highlighting the phrases or words, think about what type of word they are. Think about the parts of speech. What part do they play in the sentence? All right, so we have assigned a noun, we've assigned another noun. What kind of role do you think the blank, the word in the blank would play? All right, because there's just that many components in a sentence. So if you assign everyone else's place, the final place for the word that we are looking for is quite fixed. Okay, so by identifying the parts of speech of the words around it, you can narrow down and figure out what type of word you're looking for. That process is called identifying the parts of speech. All right, and after that, it's up to your understanding of the sentence, which goes back to our first step, your understanding of the sentence and your vocabulary sometimes to help you find the most accurate word. All right, so the third step, finding the accurate word, that's the part where we keep on practicing. We'll be practicing that throughout the rest of your primary years, maybe even into secondary years. Okay, so that's not the part that we need to rush. But the first two steps, the foundation to solving the problem, identifying the keywords and identifying the parts of speech. That is the skill we need to learn and we need to practice right now. Okay, so start early. All right, that builds us a smoother path in our future studies. Okay, so that's the trick for today's Tenape live sharing session. Do you guys have any questions about what we just went through? All right, if you do not have any questions, thank you for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed and you've learned something. I do wish to see you again in our future sessions. Thank you and bye-bye.